Hey,
Come on, I'll take it.
I got 5 stops to make.
What's your name?
Max.
Max. I'm Vincent.
I'll meet you in the alley behind the building.
Oh no! What the hell? You killed him.
Red light, Max.
Hold on.
Man, you were gonna drive me around tonight, never be the wiser, but we're into plan B. Now we gotta make the best of it. Improvise, adapt to the environment. Whatever, man, we gotta roll with it.
You just met him once and you kill him like that?
What, I should only kill people after I get to know them?
I'm not up for this.
What are you gonna do about it?
There's a man named Vincent.
I got another DOA.
He's already killed witnesses. He's coming to kill you.
Max! I do this for a living!
What's going? What's my work? Gotta roll with it. Adapt.
Get your hands in the air!
That's funny, coming from you. Slow down!
Shoot me!
Some men don't die when their heart stops. They die slowly. Over years, decision by decision, silence by silence, until one day there's nothing left but the routine. Vincent died a long time before he got on that train. He just didn't sit down until tonight. So, take a minute, make a coffee, turn off the noise. You're not just watching a movie. You're walking through the last night of a man who's already gone. And if you pay attention, you might see yourself in the rear view. Los Angeles at night sells you the illusion of direction. Freeways stretch out like arteries blinking red and white. But no one's going anywhere. They're just circling, burning fuel, and killing time. Michael Mann's Collateral is a movie that pretends to be about a hitman and a cab driver. But the bodies aren't the story. The story is motion, or the lack of it. You've got one man who's been moving his whole life. Looks like he was born in that gray suit. Talks like a philosophy professor with a flight to catch. Then there's Max, 12 years in a taxi. Tells himself it's temporary. Tells himself he's working towards something. He isn't. He's parked with the engine running. They meet by chance. Or maybe not. This city has a way of putting the right two people in the wrong place at the worst possible time. Vincent isn't a monster. He's worse. He's reasonable. He doesn't yell. Doesn't gloat. Doesn't get personal. He's efficient. He doesn't kill out of rage, or fear, or hate. He kills because it's scheduled. The morality's there, somewhere, but it's been negotiated out of him. One dead name at a time. He treats murder like a courier job. Deliver the bullets on time, without drama. If you asked him why he kills, he'd give you numbers. Politics. Market forces. It's not about power or revenge. It's logistics. But don't mistake that for emptiness. There's a conscience in there, somewhere. You see flashes of it. The way he lets Max talk. The way he slows down when he doesn't have to. The way he doesn't shoot the jazz club owner until he absolutely has to. He's not without feelings. He just doesn't let them interrupt the schedule. And maybe that's the scariest kind of killer. The one who still has a soul, but files it away like it's bad for business. Watch Vincent closely. He talks about efficiency, systems, evolution, Darwin, I Ching, and whatever. He jokes that a man fell out of the sky and nobody noticed. But he's not laughing. He's warning us. That's his future. A man who disappears before the city blinks. You want to know who Vincent is? He's a man who knows he's irrelevant. And instead of confronting that, he buried it under contracts and clean exits. He tells himself the people he kills were going to die anyway. That he's just the middleman. That it's impersonal. But he makes it personal, over and over. He stays with Max the whole night. Talks to him. Tests him. Pushes him. He doesn't need to. But he does. He kills the jazz club owner after a heartfelt conversation about Miles Davis. He could have done it in silence. But he didn't. He wanted something. Recognition and respect. Maybe even forgiveness. Vincent isn't trying to finish the job. He's trying to prove something on the way out. Most hitmen in movies are about control. Vincent's about ritual. He rehearses his rationalizations the way someone folds a flag at a funeral. Clean, respectful, formal, but the body's still dead. Everything in Vincent's life is choreography, from the briefcase to the dialogue. And when that breaks, when Max tosses the briefcase onto the freeway, Vincent breaks too. You can see it. A flicker of panic. Not anger. Not rage. Just disorientation. The plan was his spine. Without it, he crumbles. Here's what no one says. Vincent is Max 10 years later. After enough excuses, enough fear, enough days where temporary becomes permanent. The same dream, just more practiced, more cynical, more dressed up. The difference? Max still feels stuck. Vincent doesn't feel anything. That's the horror. That's why he watches Max. Studies him. There's something about the guy that bugs him. It's not his decency. It's his potential. The thing Vincent lost. Or killed. Or outsourced. So who is Vincent? He's not a ghost. Not a predator. He's a man who mistook motion for purpose. A man who kept moving so he wouldn't have to stop and ask why. In the end, that's what kills him. Not the bullet. The mirror. That's not a man at the top of his game. That's a man repeating a performance he can no longer pull off. He talks about killing like it's math. Like it's detached. But it's not. He's angry. He's emotional. He makes it personal. He says, I do this for a living. But what he really means is, this is all I have left. Vincent is someone who once believed in being above it all. Cold, efficient, unstoppable. But now he's sloppy. Overconfident. Running out of time. He lectures Max like he's in control. But look at the subtext. He needs Max. Needs a driver. Needs someone to talk to. Needs someone to bear witness to the act. Because if no one sees it, it doesn't feel real anymore. Vincent is hollowing out, and he knows it. That's why he tests Max. That's why he snaps at small things. That's why he recites that lonely statistic about people dying on the train and nobody noticing. That's him. He sees it coming. The same ending. Alone, unnoticed, a body in a seat. He's not afraid of death. He's afraid of being forgotten. That's the real Vincent. Not death incarnate. Not some clean, mythic assassin, but a man trying to outrun his own irrelevance. A man still dressed like the job matters. Still quoting jazz musicians. Still clinging to old rules. But the world's moved on. And deep down, he knows he didn't. Max, on the other hand, isn't a hero. Not at first. He's like most people. Too smart to be where he is, too scared to leave. He keeps his cab spotless, talks about running a limo company, has brochures printed, but he never does it. He's addicted to the safety of almost. That's what Collateral is really about. The war between almost and enough. Vincent forces Max into motion. At gunpoint. It's not about Vincent corrupting him. It's about Max finally running out of excuses. The film doesn't reward him, doesn't pat him on the back. It just shows him the cost. Fear, death, and chaos. And something that looks a little like freedom. Max is a ghost too. People think he changes over the course of the movie, but he doesn't. He used to be someone. You can feel it in the way he lines up his postcards. The way he speaks gently to strangers. He had a life before the cab. But somewhere along the way, the days blurred. And now he's trapped in a job he calls temporary, even though it's lasted 12 years. Max doesn't need to be saved. He needs to be disrupted. And that's where Vincent comes in. Not as a devil. Not as a symbol. Just as a man, dying out loud. The only person that night who actually sees Max for who he could be. Their bond is not about friendship. It's about recognition. They recognize the damage in each other. The denial. The way they both hide behind routines and fake futures. Vincent hides in motion. Max hides in stillness. And for one night, that dissonance becomes unbearable. They bounce off each other until one breaks. It's not about good versus evil. It's about who still has a chance and who's already lost theirs. The genius of Collateral is what it doesn't say. There's no backstory for Vincent. No tragic flashbacks. Just the way he reacts when someone calls him out. Just the way his voice drops when Max gets under his skin. There's no origin story for Max's fear. Just the way his eyes go blank when someone mentions his big dreams. Every other movie would have explained it. Collateral doesn't. Because in real life, people don't walk around explaining why they're broken. Michael Mann shoots Los Angeles like a city that doesn't care if you make it home. It's cold, but not cruel. Just indifferent. Digital cameras capture every reflection. every flicker of fluorescent decay. This isn't noir with shadows and cigarettes. This is neon noir, a surveillance feed of a nervous breakdown. The pacing is deliberate. The violence is sudden, clean, like punctuation. Most thrillers give you noise when they want you to feel something. Collateral gives you silence. A lot of people think this is Vincent's movie. It isn't. He's the fuse. But Max is the bomb. When it goes off, the film shifts. The victim becomes the variable. The cabbie grows teeth. And Vincent? He doesn't lose because he's outgunned. He loses because the thing he never expected, Max waking up, actually happens. There's a moment on the train at the end. Vincent's been shot. He slumps onto a bench like it's a layover. He asks, "Think anybody'll notice?" He's not angry, not scared, just surprised. Like a man who spent his life following the map, only to realize the destination doesn't exist. It's not dramatic. It's pathetic. And that's what makes it hit. That's noir. You want to know what makes Collateral different? It doesn't care what you think of its characters. It doesn't ask for sympathy or offer any. It just puts two men in a car and lets the city chew on them. And by the end, only one gets out. Barely. But both are gone. Because Collateral isn't about who lives or dies. It's about who finally decides to move. Is this a happy ending movie? No. Collateral isn't a happy ending. Not even close. It's a quiet ending. That's different. It's calm, still, almost peaceful on the surface, but only because the damage's already been done. Vincent dies. Max lives. That's not resolution. That's just outcome. The world doesn't change. The city doesn't notice. There's no catharsis, no celebration, no reward. Just two men who collided in the night, and one of them didn't make it to morning. Vincent didn't learn anything. He didn't evolve. He confirmed what he always feared, that he was forgettable, disposable, dead long before the train stopped. Vincent died the way he lived. Alone, in motion, going nowhere. He told himself stories to make it make sense. About jazz, chaos, coyotes crossing highways. Said people don't notice when you're gone. But that was never wisdom. That was a man prepping for his own disappearance. He said life has no meaning, but he kept showing up in suits. On time, coordinated, efficient. You don't plan your exit that carefully unless you're afraid the world won't remember you were here. Vincent wanted to vanish with style, like it mattered. But in the end, there was no audience. No applause. Just the sound of steel brakes. And a body cooling in fluorescent light. Nobody asked his name. Nobody cared who he killed. He wasn't death. He wasn't myth. He was just a man running out of time. And all that talk about detachment and randomness and moral vacuum. Turns out, it was all just noise, because when it counted, he stayed on the train. That was the truth about Vincent. He didn't walk away. He didn't disappear into the shadows. He sat there, because there was nowhere else to go, and nothing left to be. Max doesn't win. He survives. And maybe that's all he ever wanted. But survival's not triumph. He's not transformed. He's just awake now. And awake in that world, gray, heartless, indifferent, isn't exactly a gift. The happiest thing that happens is that Max walks away with the chance to keep living. But even that's a question mark. Because now he knows what the end looks like. He's seen it up close. It wore a gray suit. It made conversation. And it died without meaning. So no, it's not a happy ending. It's just honest, and that's what makes it great. Some men die on the news. Some men die in headlines. Vincent died on the last stop of the Green Line, and nobody knew his name. A man spent his life becoming a ghost, and when he vanished, the city didn't even blink. That's it for now. If you made it this far, you already know this wasn't just a movie. It was a message. Stick around. Next time, we're looking at something colder. Until then, keep the meter running.